What happens when a hermit with social anxiety and his best friend, a pig, trip on mushrooms and are thrust into an adventure of their lives, saving their forest home and town from corporate overlords? Hello everyone and welcome to the Good Game Lobby review of Hermit and Pig, the debut title from Heavy Lunch Studios. Created by Mason Dickerson, an illustrator and cartoonist most known for House Cat Trouble, and developer Denise Kennedy. They're a childhood duo who have collaborated on music, writing, and now 20 years later have come together for another must-play game of 2026. Before I get into the review, I want to share that the team at Heavy Lunch Studios have given me a key to give away. Stick around to the end of the review to find out how to enter that giveaway. When I first saw the game during Day of the Devs in 2023, the visual design hit me hard. The animation of hand-drawn art and pixel designs is so well done, and every detail from character designs to combat animations and the silliness had me ready to get started playing as soon as possible. The game only had a trailer at that time, so I patiently waited for anything to play and immediately pounced when the demo was released. I was so excited that I went straight to Procreate to doodle one of the protagonists, Hermit, which you can see here. After the demo, I was so in love with the premise and quirky turn-based combat style that I joined the Discord, ready to assist in any way I could. That came in the form of testing a longer playthrough of the demo area, which was updated at the tail end of 2025. A release date was set for 2026, and after only a minor delay, it's releasing in a few days as of this review. Fun fact, it's actually one of the first demos I ever streamed before I had any setup. I was even using my iPhone as my camera at the time. I can honestly say that if I had the funds to publish a game, I would have loved to start with Hermit and Pig. I have nothing bad to say about this game. It scratched every itch, had me stuck with a smile on my face throughout the whole entire playthrough, and ultimately became a hit for me. Let's get into why, starting with the story of our friends, Hermit and Pig. The game starts like any other for our duo, heading out to forage for mushrooms, though not before petting your pig, and picking up your copy of Wilderness Self-Defense for Older Adults Volume 1. Combat is a huge part of the game, and this will come in handy. As they venture out into the forest, where they both reside, they are attacked by a roach. It's not a normal occurrence and throws our friends off. But thankfully, you have studied your self-defense book, and after some stomping, you come out victorious, making your way through the forest when you happen upon a blue glowing mushroom. Something that in the last few months seems to have been a theme in my house as I finished the show Common Side Effects, all about a miraculous blue mushroom that can heal any illness, and also recently saw the episode of Bob's Burgers about the elusive woolly Neptune. Okay, sorry, I just got distracted. It's just a weird theme that everything has like a blue mushroom in it that has some kind of power to it. Hermit decides to try this mushroom out and starts to get a wobble in his step. The music starts to get wonky and eventually passes out. He wakes up tripping out of his mind, floating in a strange world until he finds another version of himself in this void. This is where he's told he needs to go north, and that's all. He wakes up to a frantic pig and shrugs it off, only to realize that this little trip has given him a newfound ability when battling. They make it back to their home and notice a girl, Mary, waiting by their house, which is when I realized Hermit has a crippling social anxiety as sweat drops fly from his head. This is a great time to get into the gameplay. As you're introduced to Mary, she explains that the corporate overlords of the town have ruined the food supply. Hermit is now nervous and encounter almost like a battle. He's asked questions where you can see the straightforward answer, but the other two options are clearly his anxiety playing into things. For example, Mary saying thank you to you gives you 3 choices. 1, no welcome, 2, problem, and 3, no problem. I answered with no welcome and was hit with a 1 cringe damage. When I played the demo the first time, I was already liking the game, but when this cringe damage was represented, I knew it would be a great game. The sense of humor continues throughout the game in this consistent way that had me giggling often. Turn-based combat in Hermit and Pig is fun and can get intense because it has a time-based setup. You have your typical RPG elements of attacking, defending, and using powered-up moves you get after tripping on mushrooms, along with mushrooms to assist you in battles. The way you input each attack is what kept me on my toes. You learn in your wilderness survival book that each enemy has a specific way they must be taken out. For instance, a bug may need to be stomped on, or a bird will need you to use your slingshot. Enemies can also change their movement or technique, so you need to adjust your attacks accordingly. The trick here is that attacks all need inputs. You need to select attack, then input a pattern like up, down, down to stomp, and then right trigger to unleash that attack. This is all happening while a timer on the right slowly winds down. This adds so much stress and fun to the whole experience. I even had a notepad in view at all times with the moves written down to help me remember which animals or bugs needed which type of attack. This can get so intense and stressful later in the game, but rest assured you can adjust the settings to make it easier. You can even simplify the attacks to the point where you set it up like a typical RPG, selecting an attack, picking out the move with no extra inputs. The flexibility of the difficulty in combat is a great touch, and the developers have taken tons of feedback from playtesting into account, and it shows. You also have mini games and battles where you use those powered up Trippy moves to either steal mushrooms with Pig's abilities. Yes, Pig also eats one of the blue mushrooms and trips out, and it's a really good time. I'll show you one of Hermit's that you first unlock called the slam technique. A bar shoots from left to right, and you need to hit the direction in a small window as it passes over, accompanied by these lovely animations of Hermit's attacks. It increases in speed as you play, and you're given 3 strikes before it ends and you unleash a huge attack. Leveling up is pretty linear. I didn't find that I could grind independently to level up. It happens naturally as you progress throughout the story. With each level up, you'll get a trinket slot that opens. You'll find hidden trinkets throughout the world or trade different truffles and mushrooms as currency to buy them. Trinkets assist with status effects you experience in the game such as stuns, confusion, and poisoning. The design choices play so well into the system, which leads me perfectly into the visuals. The visuals for Hermit and Pig are what drove me headfirst into wishlisting the game to begin with. I've already mentioned to a ton of people that if I ever made a video game, this is exactly what I would have made. I love the pixel, hand-drawn style that isn't heavy on detail, looks clean, and uses color to kind of define the world. Each character's design is done in a way that makes them unique in their own right. The animations, especially how battles start or how attacks play out, have these quick, almost GIF-like styles which are extremely my thing. Even the mushroom designs look wonderful with incredible attention to detail. Just for some context, here's a side note. I've been illustrating for years and even had a Tumblr in the early days of the platform where I made animated GIFs. So since then, unfortunately, I see everything in GIFs. Short bursts of animation are everywhere, and it speaks to me in Hermit and Pig. The way enemies appear, how they look when an attack lands, or how someone reacts to Hermit's cringe comments all make for a visual delight. I'm so obsessed with the art style that I immediately ordered Mason's graphic novels for kids called House Cat Trouble, and I'm eager to read them with my son. With great gameplay and visuals, it's no wonder the sound design and soundtrack are amazing. You'll notice right from the start, the sound of a battle beginning is a rumble of drums and chaos. Landing attacks on enemies gives you drum hits and cymbal smashes that add to the action. I was genuinely excited to enter new areas of the game just to hear the next song in the soundtrack. Every piece is delightful and never feels repetitive or overbearing, which can happen in some RPGs. There's also a playfulness of the music that had me dancing while I played. I wasn't able to find any details on the composer or sound designer at the time of this review, but rest assured I'll be talking about it more in my newsletter once I find out more. It's clear that I like Hermit and Pig. I love how it looks. The turn-based combat kept me on my toes, and the story premise, along with the hilarious characters you meet, feels like a perfect dose of medicine, especially with how well it mirrors the current social and political climates in the US. A good way to put it is that it's rebellious in the coziest way possible for an indie game. I personally think that this is one of the best games I played since I started reviewing games over a year and a half ago. I don't think it needs to be Clair Obscur or Silksong to be a great contender. Mason's illustration and graphic novel style is deeply embedded in the game's identity, and working with his childhood friend Nathan to develop the game really shows in how fun and silly it can be, while still delivering a mature tone and inventive gameplay mechanics. Hermit's social anxiety is represented in a way I've never seen before, and I loved every part of it. Who hasn't had a cringeworthy comment when first meeting someone? Hermit and Pig gives a glimpse into a world of mushrooms, corruption from higher powers, and the mystery that grows more unusual as you progress. It has a loud, colorful design, pixel-perfect animated visuals, and gameplay that generally stressed me out in the most fun way possible, which is why I believe it's a must-play game of the year. It took me roughly 9 to 10 hours to complete the whole game. I don't have a price at the time of this review as the game releases in a few days, but regardless, I loved it, and whatever the final price is, it's well worth it. It ran great on my ROG Ally, and I have no doubt it will play wonderfully on the Steam Deck. I also want to give a shout out to Nathan, who's been a point of contact during this whole process of getting the review key, and the whole team for giving me early access to the game for this review. Also, if you comment below with your favorite RPG, I'll pick someone at random to give a key to that will unlock on the game's release date, February 5th. And that's my review of Hermit and Pig. What'd you think? Are you checking it out? Have you played the demo? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're looking for another game review, check out the one on your left. And if you want to see a list of all the game reviews, check out the playlist on your right. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and as always, GG.